What is going on? Charles Botensten here. Obviously, it's a nice snowy day here in New York City. Just want to adjust this camera. Going live every single day, and that's why you should subscribe to the videos. But today we're going to be talking about a little bit more business. You know, I run a business here in New York City. We expect to be one of the biggest in the world by the time I'm 50 years old, which is in another 18 years. And it's day to day. You know, I'm looking at my schedule, and that's how I adjust it. You know, I allocate my time. I talked about that yesterday a little bit. The questions kind of diverted away from that, which is not your fault, it's my fault. So I would say the number one thing is allocating your time. But when you talk about business, a lot of people, they don't get it right, okay? You know, I know Gary talks about hustling, but if you don't hustle in the right way, you're not actually getting anything done, okay? So this is the best way to actually, and he talks about obviously social media and branding and things like that, but he doesn't really talk about sales. I wish he talked about the people he reached out to, the business development that he does, the follow-up that he has, the pitches that he does, how he closes. You know, those are the most important things, because those are the ones that's what generates sales, okay? It's not social media. Social media is not going to generate sales. Yes, it's going to generate inquiries, but you still have to close the business. It's going to generate people that are interested, but you still have to set the appointment. You still have to say why you're differentiating. Say you're in fitness. You know, why are you better than the next bodybuilder? Why are you better than the next model? Why are you better than the next company? Why are you better than the next printing solution or the best hosting solution? It doesn't matter. You know, business is not only competitive, it's always been competitive. You know, 150 years ago it was competitive when everyone was in a marketplace and they were selling the same shit, which was food or scents or salt or furs or clothing or whatever. It was competitive then, it's competitive now, it's going to be competitive in the future. The reason that we say that it's super competitive now is because this is the time we live in, okay? So we don't have any differentiating option. You know, 50 years ago in real estate, you would actually have to put an ad in the newspaper and say, this is what we have. Be there at the Sunday open house. You know, calling, you literally had to do a rotary phone. I don't know if anyone, Google what a rotary phone is. So there's two, and this is something, this is in beta, but this is a really big concept that I've been mulling over, because there's two types of sales. I'm sorry, there's two types within business, okay? And this doesn't matter who it is. Everyone has a sales team and everyone has a marketing team, most likely, okay? You can't just have a sales team without any marketing. It's kind of tough. If I could choose between both of them, it would definitely be a sales team, all right? So the number one thing is, when you're doing sales, that is a push. Sales is promotion, that's sponsorship, that's reaching out, that's cold calling, that's following up, that's reaching out to clients, that's saying, who do you know that's looking to buy or sell, or who else do you know? That's newsletters, that's drip campaigns. Those are things where you're pushing onto the customer, you're offering, pushing onto the customer, not only your offering, but also how you differentiate yourself, okay? And then once they're interested, so that is involuntary. You know, they're receiving your product. A billboard in Times Square, that's involuntarily taking my attention up to the billboard, okay? Involuntary is a commercial. You know, it's something, it's pre-rolls. Pre-rolls are the ads before YouTube videos. You know, that's something I have no choice, okay? But if there was actually interest, so say I saw something about, you know, facial cream, all right? And I say, you know what, I'm actually interested. So they pushed it onto me, which is sales, and then I click on the ad and I go to their website. This is their brand. This is the voluntarily looking at their brand and saying, do I jive with them? Does this fit into my goals and my needs and my wants? Are they someone that I actually want to do business with? These are the emotions that are running through the customer. In the beginning, it's more analytical. Like, is this person taking up my time? Why are they taking up my time? But once they go to the website, you actually have to be emotionally driving your customer to a sale, okay? Emotionally driving the customer. What are your core values? Are you eco-friendly? Do you use reusable products? Do you use healthy products? Do you use gluten-free? Or are you very inexpensive and there's free shipping and you don't give a shit about your product? You know, as long as it's inexpensive and cheap. You know, there's two types in every business, okay? There's the discount and then there's the luxury. You look at the car industry, there's the discount and then there's the luxury. If you look at makeup, there's the discount, there's the luxury. Purses, suits, you know, even services. If I'm looking to host my website on a database, okay, you have the cheap version, which may get hacked into, it may be slow, but it's cheap. and it's inexpensive. So those are perfect for people that are just starting out their business. If you want to get to a dedicated solution that's more expensive, there's obviously different servers, you have better firewalls, it's definitely a lot faster, it's maybe T5, T10, if that even exists, but then you also have more memory, more bandwidth. In either way, you either push your solution onto someone, but then when they're interested, they get pulled onto your website, your social media, your YouTube, you yourself, okay? So I started mulling this around because, you know, I pulled myself away from the business purposely. I didn't want to be the face of the business. That was really what it came down to, BPI. That's our logo right there. Sorry about that. This is my computer. But that's my logo right there. And, you know, I said, you know what? I want to scale this business out. But then I started thinking there's two types of CEOs. There's the CEO that is the public face, the people that you know. Those are the public faces, the Richard Bransons, the Steve Jobs, the Elon Musks, the Jeff Bezos. And then you have people that are not the face and they don't care to be the face. You know, even on Wall Street, you know, you have Jamie Dimon. Are you more focused on marketing? It's honestly, this is what I'm going to tell you. No business has failed because they've had too many sales, okay? Yeah, maybe they weren't able to scale properly and they got too many sales and they had to cancel orders, but not one person went out of business because too many people wanted to use them, okay? And trust me, okay? I can tell you from experience, I'm going to be writing a book. This is probably 5 or 6 years out, but it's just mulling in my head that I focus solely on marketing. I focus solely on marketing for multiple reasons. Number one, it's easy. And number two is there's no rejection. There's no rejection. I don't need to call anyone and ask for referrals. I don't need to call anyone to ask for their business. I don't need to promote anything which is costs money, okay? Marketing is easy. I build a pretty website and I let people come there, okay? But nobody came and nobody bought and nobody used me, okay? So then I started thinking about, oh shit, you know, I have debt in my business. I need to pay down the debt so then I can grow the business. And that's the thing is, I'm like, I need to focus on sales. So 2018, my sole goal, I've already talked about themes. Last year is health. So I have the energy and the enthusiasm for this year to go directly into business development. You know, my entire day is structured around business development. How do I bring in business? That's it. Calling, I'm literally looking at my schedule. I'm going to be sending out cards. I'm going to text, audio text. I'm going to email. And obviously, I'm going to go to Facebook Live. I don't know if anyone's followed me on Facebook Live. Facebook.com/Botensten, and then you could hear me on the sales calls. It's really more for the accountability for all of us, okay? Because it's a shitty day in New York City. Nobody wants to be making calls or picking up calls, but obviously that's what we're going to be doing. Then I'm going to rest for 15 minutes, which is the ideal way to actually structure your day. Every 90 minutes you're on, rest for 15 minutes. When you rest for 15 minutes, don't pick up your phone, don't check out your social media, don't check out your email, just literally deplug, okay? If you guys ever ran into me on the subway, you're like, this guy, what the hell? He's got to be a fraud. He's got to be a fraud. He looks like he's exhausted. That's me deplugging from a ridiculous appointment or a ridiculous pitch. I'm on for 90 minutes. I can't be on the entire day. So I deplug. I literally sit there. I gain my energy back. And then I'm like, okay, next appointment, let's crush it. But if I'm sitting there and I'm always on scrolling through, that's not ideal. Rest for 15 minutes. Then I do my morning follow-up. Whoever I called, I text, I email, blah, blah, blah. That is for a half an hour. Then I grab lunch at 11:30. Then additional follow-up for an hour and a half. That's all business development. That's until 1:15 p.m. That's all business development, okay? No one, like I said, has went out of business because they have too many clients. Nobody's gone out of business because they have too much money coming in. People have gone out of business because they've received seed funding. Literally look at the top businesses that went out of business. Pets.com, 150 million, I think it was, that they spent because they oversaturated with warehouses, with supplies, but they had no sales. Nobody used them. Nobody used them. So they went out of business. $150 million, okay? You have to understand, business it's great. We're all sitting there. We're like, how do we make our Instagram nice and pretty? But if no one's going to your fucking Instagram and nobody's buying from you, it doesn't matter, okay? That's what I noticed is that, I'll give you this example. The top brokers in New York City, okay? So Frederick is the top, he's the top single agent, I think, By the way, there's a lot of people that you hear about, but they're not even in the news, like Frederick or Ryan or anything like that, all right? So they get the most publicity, but they're not doing the most sales, okay? I think Frederick is for individual agent, and then you have teams, and then you have companies and everything else. So there's different hierarchies and whatever. There's a lot of people that they have no Instagram. This woman that is, she went out on her own. I forgot her name. Her website was terrible. She had no Instagram as of 2 years ago, and she was probably making about $12 to $15 million a year. Okay, 12 to 15 million. She had zero marketing. It was all sales. So you could do the opposite, but the problem is if you just do marketing, you have to have an app like Instagram where you don't need to really reach out. But even then, if you look at the story of Instagram, they soft launched it, they got feedback, they adjusted it, they got a lot of publicity, and then they blew it up, and they got like 33,000 downloads on the first day, which is insane, and then it just took off from there. But there is still sales behind it because they had to find out the feedback from customers, picking up the phone. What's right? What's wrong? You're going to use it for that instead of what we wanted it for? Let's go with what you want to use it for. So you have to understand that sales is everything, but nobody wants to talk about that. Grant Cardone only talks about sales, okay? And he's talking about like blasting everything out. If you have a good mix, Gary's obviously very good at sales, but if you have a good mix between Grant's sales and Gary's marketing, that's the number one company. That's Apple. You know, Apple has, I'm part of Apple Business. They call me all the time, okay? Nobody hears about that. Their business, they have salespeople that call all the time. And by the way, they also have a massive marketing budget. They also have a incredible YouTube, Instagram following, and obviously their newsletter, which has millions of people as well. They capture every single person, okay? So they're good at marketing, but they also have a sales team, okay? Nobody talks about the sales team, all right? So that's the push and pull of business. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to do that, all right? So we're gonna be going over Facebook Live, facebook.com/Botensten. Link is below. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comments below. If you liked the business aspect instead of just the self-development, that's what I'm shooting for, by the way. How much does it cost to hire someone to film you and edit your vlogs? Yeah, I can tell you right now. Sorry about that. I was really parched right there. Hiring someone is not cheap. Again, part of my failure or adjustment, because my business didn't fail, but part of my adjustment was that I overhired. Not only did I overhire, but I also brought on the wrong people. I wasn't ready to manage. I was a bad manager. I didn't have enough sales for them. And then they went out of the industry and it was just a total disaster. So if you're looking to bring someone on, what I would do is have them on retainer. So on retainer is totally different than full-time. He's not full-time, all right? Right now he's editing at home. He has a vlog that he's editing. We're gonna be pushing out different content, and we're building out a blog itself, and it's gonna be really good. I'm really excited about that. And then, so there's two reasons. One is you have to have a full-time amount of content. If you don't have a full-time amount of content, he's literally just sitting there twiddling his thumbs, and then you feel like you have to give him business because you're paying for him, and then you're saying, what the hell do I even shoot? What do I even film? So I can tell you right now, don't bring on anyone full-time, even if it's a copywriter or an assistant. I have a virtual assistant. She does maybe 2 hours of work, maybe an hour of work a day, but she's overseas, she's wonderful, I pay her through PayPal, she's not in the United States, she's not sitting next to me, because then there's benefits and other things. Go part-time, and then when you can't afford, or when you need and you can afford a full-time, then go full-time, all right? Always have someone on retainer. Don't overspend. Do not overspend. Do not get the pretty office space like I did in the beginning. Get something, work out of your house, okay? Listen, he's at Hudson Yards. Hudson Yards is known as a Class A office space. Class A means, holy shit, that's expensive. He's paying a ton of money. He has a full floor. I think he has 2 full floors. That's extremely expensive, okay? Okay, so he has the overhead of the office space. He has overhead of obviously all the insurance, all the lighting, the electrical, the plumbing, everything like that. Number 2 is you also have all the salaries, you have all the benefits, you have the bonuses, you have a ridiculous amount of overhead, okay? I can tell you right now, bootstrap it, which is, I forgot the name of the book. Obviously 0 to 1 is a great book by Peter Thiel. He's a evangelist in the venture capital world. And then the second is, God, it's gonna kill me. I just saw it. It's kind of like, it's just put the something viable product out there. Just put the smallest viable product out there, test the marketplace, and then adjust. Okay, Instagram, it was not supposed to be Instagram. YouTube was supposed to be something totally different. They said, oh, fuck it, people are actually sharing things. The difference, by the way, I'll tell you right now, the difference between Vimeo and YouTube, they both launched at the same time, is that YouTube had 5 times the amount of shares, okay? I talked a little about NoFap yesterday. Can you go into detail in the video? Yeah, maybe. To be honest, for the brand, it's kind of, it is what it is. But the reason that YouTube was so successful is because they had 5 times the amount of share buttons as opposed to Vimeo. Vimeo only had 1. YouTube had share the video, share the video, share the video, share the video, and people shared the video. That's why it took off. And Vimeo now is going to a subscription-based instead of in a advertising-based. And obviously now YouTube is also, they've, subscription in their music and everything else. So NoFap, listen, just Google it, okay? I haven't done any research besides the couple of videos that I've seen, and then not only that, the feeling that I've experienced. It's there. It's like, do it. It's the same thing with anything, and this is not coming from like anger or anything, but if you don't try, Gary said recently, he's like, how do you know you don't like onions or pickles? Have you tried pickles? No? Okay, so you can't say you don't like pickles. Have you read that book? How do you criticize the author of the book if you've never read it? Okay? It's the same thing, is that do it if it feels good and you've experienced benefits, then keep on doing it. But if you don't, then don't. I can tell you right now that there is a 99% chance, based on all of the testimonials and research, and obviously for myself, is that even fighters will do that. The Gracies have done that. Mike Tyson has done it. I know there's I forgot a bunch of other people that would load up on testosterone. So when they go to fight day, they have the energy, but they also have the explosive power, the aggressiveness, and that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what we need, okay? That's nature, okay? Nature was not to just sit there and do that, okay? Nature was to procreate and survive, okay? So, going to Facebook Live right now. Have an awesome day. See you guys there. The link is below. Talk to you guys soon.